tokens to, hey, if you have more, for Shimmer holders, they get 80% of those TAN token airdrops, or, or 70%. And then IOTA holders that have IOTA, they get, 30% or 20% of those TAN token drops.
Well, I agree with the 80-20 actually, and bear with me for a minute for this, considering the fact that the majority of the community members from IOTA are reacting for Simmer, for the financial aspect of the technology, like for investment in crypto as a cryptocurrency. That would be fair for the Simmer users. Technologically and generally, we see reactions from both Simmer and IOTA, so from that aspect, there's not much difference. But from the investment part, it's more from the Simmer users that we can see reactions. I mean, even yesterday, I think someone was demanding answers from IOTA Foundation and the respective channel of Simmer. Like, it's not like they will get an answer, to be honest, but
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think 80-20 is fair.
Okay. Bill Poster, can we do a quick anonymous poll in the chat? Is that possible? Okay. And then while he's doing that, yeah, I think that'll be good that yeah, just for us. I mean, maybe
I'd say at this 75-25 as well.
75,
like a middle ground.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
One second here. I'm just looking at something. Okay. Yeah, I think in defense of 70-30, I think 30% of IOTA holders gives them more of a stake in the portion they get and generates more interest value for the SMR portion. So Saphir is saying in defense in supporting 70-30, he thinks 30% of IOTA holders gives them more of a stake in the portion they get and generates more interest, hence value for the SMR portion. Cool. And we can do the vote and then we can move forward. I think getting this out will maybe cause more interest, because then people can tangibly say, wow, I'm going to get this many TAN tokens. Ultimately, it's finger in the air win calculations. Yeah, it's true. But here we go. Okay, so we got a poll. We in the group maybe do this poll. And then yeah, then we'll go from there. I think allowing people to the community to see something tangible might hopefully get enough interest to the point that then someone might say, wow, okay, I get this many tokens, but if I run a validator, I'm going to get way more tokens, and hopefully that could potentially do something. So I will let this go for a minute. And honestly, I think now once we do that, Saphir, you're pretty good at writing things up. Like once we decide on this, would you want to try working on writing up and presenting this in a way that we can put it through a social media post and maybe a spreadsheet that does the breakdown of addresses and that?
Yeah, I'm happy to put together a bit of a column strategy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then, on the incentives aspect too, I think, we kind of have a core team, and I think maybe the next week we put together what that core team would get as a small percentage, and then we maybe come up with other positions that we're looking for and incentives there. One, I think, Fair, even Bill Poster, you've been pretty active in managing this Discord and setting it up and everything. And, I would even say you're part of that core team and coming up with something, and then something to keep going on that of managing social media. Saphir has really done a lot of work on the narratives, kind kind of working this over the last year, and I think of myself when I was brought in of like, hey, can we bring this all together as sort of like my background is usually project manager of just kind of get things moving forward, and then ultimately I'll be heavy in developing the governance side of things. But yeah, and then of course Tangle Bay team and Garrett, who really did the initial fork, and so I think if we can try to go over that stuff over the next couple weeks and solidify that, will be good, and solidify what other aspects are we looking for, what other efforts are we looking for, and I had that breakdown in that Airtable sheet, so we can do that. Oh, I see one from meeting takeaway from last week. You didn't happen to reach out to Epoch Zero, did you, Bill Poster? Let's give it another week, and then I can jump in there, try to reach out a little bit. Trying to think. And just to clarify, when we decided on the 2% of, I took that as like, and maybe I wrote it not clearly, is I'm reading my notes from last week. It said 2% of the 9%, which I didn't mean to say like if 9% take as 100% take 2% that. I meant to say like, of the 9 that is left over from that 10%, like we would take 2%, which is ultimately 2% of the entire supply, and we reward validators for the first year. Was that, Saphir, was that what you were understanding, like 2% of the entire supply?
Yeah, that's how I understood it.
Okay, cool. Because I think 2% of 9%, which is probably wouldn't be enough to really entice people. So, and at 2% of the entire supply may not even be enough. We have to kind of see how it is, how it goes. But so just to clarify that, so let me write up here. Okay. Group agree for 2% of the entire supply to go to validators for year 1. Okay. All right. So we got 6 votes in, 5 for 70-30, 1 for 75-25. Yeah, I think ultimately the SMR holders will have more value that way, just because there's a lot of IOTA holders that actually sold all their shimmer. There's, I wouldn't say it's the majority. I think most IOTA holders are equally, attached to shimmer and IOTA, kind of the same. But I do know several people that were like, they just sold it. So if we can get some of those, just to show some interest, I think there's real value in that. And I think ultimately, again, it's like starting a fire, right? You need an ember. If you have a small ember, the fire dies out, when a little wind comes, when a little, raindrop hits it. But if you can get a big enough ember going, that fire is going to blaze regardless of what happens. And that's where we're at that stage. I mean, we really got to get this thing flaming. And to do that is, in the beginning, is really just from people talking about it, talking about it, using it. Again, it's just the marketing funnel everyone knows about is get them in, interest, do they use it? Can you retain them, etc. So let's go with that then. Okay. Great. I think, yeah, having that tangible, there'll be those people coming into our Discord and then saying, well, how much am I going to get? And say, well, go to the spreadsheet and search your address, and there you go. Awesome. I think that's going to be pretty big for a next step there. Uh-oh, am I on the wrong thing here? Okay, awesome. I'm seeing Garrett passing on that code to Jiggle. So hopefully Jiggle can put that in our GitHub. And then I think once that's in there, then we can start practicing on the multi-sig, and then we can move those tokens over there when we all feel comfortable there. Please remind me.
I'll be sharing a bit of an overview with other people in the channel shortly around marketing, just to get community's thoughts and
awesome.
petition if you've got any changes that you'd like to make. So heads up on that.
Yes. Awesome. You're right. Yes, Bill Poster. I said, remind me in the meeting tomorrow. We should create a list of track what dApps and integrations we easily can launch when growing the TAN ecosystem. So saying that, I believe it was in the tech channel, and it was Zelus, where it looks like he says if we maintain the same wallet code as Shimmer and similar API links, and then TAN instead of Shimmer for the Explorer and node links, I could easily add it to yourrealm.com, which currently still uses Shimmer and Hathor, but could expand to use TAN. So that's great.
Sorry, let me backtrack one moment, if you don't mind. It might be something I missed. I did step away for a bit. The easy poll that's just been done with 6 votes, is that to be used as guidance for a public poll on the main channel, or is that the final decision and we move forward with 70-30?
I mean, I think it's a final decision. We move forward with 70-30, but I'm open to what other people think. I mean, we did say, it was going to be our group that makes the final decisions. I think,
I don't disagree with that notion, and I think it was my recommendation that, decisions are made by the people who show up. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
but
it was
this kind of thing. Yeah, but having said that, this is not so much a governance direction. This is a pretty big kind of thing that maybe people want to have a bit of a say. So I'm thinking, if there is to be a vote on it, a public vote, then offer 60-40, 70-30, and 80-20, and nothing else. So there aren't too many outliers. But again, I'm not opposed to going ahead with this, but I'm inclined to sort of suggest in this case that it goes to a public vote.
My only concern with that is there would be no discussion about it, and I think there'd be no discussion to sort of educate people that, like, hey, yes, we like supporting Shimmer holders is actually supporting IOTA holders, and I don't know if they would kind of fully understand that, if we do, let's say, a 90-10, it's actually going to hurt that 90% more than if they had 70%. But I'm open to hear other people's thoughts.
I actually understand the concern of Edward, and I kind of agree with him. Although, again, I myself don't disagree with the whole governance action that this is voted among the present people. But I also understand what he says about this decision being a public vote.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, I would also feel better if it was a public vote for the general public in the voting channel. And I also understand your concern as well. So why don't